New Zealand is ever changing.
The earth is too.
In a time where we are full of heated politics, advancing modern technology and climate change.
Rangatahi of today are not taken seriously enough in serious decision making.
Join Esther
And Leo
along with some guest speakers
to discuss serious social and political issues.
to create discussion amongst youth.
Kia ora.
And welcome to
Operation
Rangatahi.
Rangatahi with Esther and Leo.
On Youth Zone, Otago Access Radio, 105.4 FM, 1575 AM or online at oar.org.nz.
We're here same place, same time every second Friday at 4:30 p.m.
Kia ora guys, welcome to this week's episode of Operation Rangatahi. Of course it's Leo and I here today, so hi Leo.
Hey, we got the wonderful Jenna and her interpreter Bridie here with us. We're going to be talking about deafness and New Zealand Sign Language. So
I think we'll start with our whakatauki to brighten up and positive, leave you guys with some positive energy. Okay, so this week's whakatauki is ko tō reo, ko toku reo, te tūkuri tangata, te he uri uri, te he nā kono kono. Your voice, my voice, is an expression of identity. Behold, the message and the messenger. So I think that's really relevant in today's world, definitely, and in today's episode as well. And I think it's just really important that it signifies everyone can do anything and everyone's important.
Kia ora, Jenna. Could you teach us how to say our names, maybe?
Yeah. Okay, so your name or my name?
Just teach us our name.
Yeah, okay, so what is your name?
Leo.
Okay, L.
L.
E.
E.
O.
O.
So my
My
name
name.
and then
L. E.
E.
O.
That was really easy. It was like, wait.
You have your vowels.
Yeah. Mine's going to be complicated.
Yeah, sure.
What's yours? Esther.
Okay, so my name, E, T, H, E, R. Yeah, so R. Yeah, it's not a C, so put your thumb away.
Oh.
Yes, yeah. There you go, R. Fantastic. Okay. Do you want to practice it again? That way? My name, yeah. E, T, H, E, R. Great. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. We don't play it like this, so this is how we applaud. Sign language.
Maybe could you teach us how to open the show? Could you teach us how to say welcome back to Operation Rangatahi? So we can introduce the show after we come back from the song break.
Okay, so this is welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome. Radio.
Radio.
Show.
Show.
So from your eyes, show.
Show.
Yep.
Kia ora and welcome back to our radio show, Operation Rangatahi. We just said that in sign language.
So it's a bit stumbly, but we did good.
If you want to go see that, you want to go to the Youth Zone app on yznz.app and Google Play to watch that. So let's get into the questions for Jenna. So Jenna, New Zealand Sign Language is an official language in Aotearoa, but is not widely used in everyday life. How could NZSL be a more widely used language in Aotearoa, New Zealand?
So it's been an official language since 2006. We use it every day in the deaf community, and we use it in education, in schools with children who are using it. And it is starting to spread a little bit more through awareness of the deaf community, and there's been a lot of lobbying with the government to try and widen that as well. I'd like to see more sign language access in school as in education though, much like you see Māori being used every day and English being used every day. If we used all three languages and were trilingual in class, that would be fantastic. I'd like to encourage that for communicating with anyone. There are 9,000 deaf people in New Zealand, so it's quite a lot of people you could communicate with.
Yeah, it's also like real cool because like you can use it as like a little secret language as well, and it's also like really cool.
Yeah, you can do
Be
that
quite
and have
useful.
conversations far away.
Yeah.
Oh, you're in a test and you don't know what they'll say. You could just do sign language across the room. They say
Oh no,
talking.
we would never do that. We would never do that.
Yeah, that would be actually quite fun to use.
Yes.
Do you want to ask the next question, Esther?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So of course, like there's obviously common obstacles in your daily life, but so could you tell us some of them and how you overcome them?
Well, I mean, the biggest one really is communication. That's a barrier for us. You know, when you go into a shop or if you're in public, you have to write to communicate. If you want to ask someone something, it can be difficult to communicate. So deaf people have plenty of ways to communicate. We do write messages with people. We'll use gesture. You know, we'll act things out. We'll point. You know, or we can use a phone and text a message at someone these days. It's pretty easy. But I would like to see a few more hearing people who weren't terrified to come across a deaf person face to face. It can be one of the main things, really, that causes a communication breakdown if people are a bit worried. You know, sometimes if we have an interpreter, we can access things in our own language. But yeah, that's what
like I saw on the news one time a few weeks ago, I think, and how one of the cafes was using sign language, and that was really cool to see.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know, it'd be so cool if that was happening all over.
Yeah, I kind of understand in a weird way being in a shop, not knowing what to ask, because when I went to New Caledonia, I only knew a bit of French, but there was something in the shop and I really did not know how to say it in French, and like pointing is your best. It's really helpful.
Yeah, that's
and
the one.
like having to when you're not sure how to describe something, it's quite a hindrance, and it's kind of yeah. But
yeah, you can always act things out. That helps too. You know, sometimes it makes you feel a bit silly, but it's alright.
You'll become good at drama and writing.
Well, there you go.
So what are some positives about if you could look on the bright side, what is the positives of being deaf and being able to use sign?
Ooh. I think for deaf people, the positive side is that, you know, we have our own culture, we have our own language, and it's a very rich and valuable language. You know, we have a long shared history, you know, and it's a beautiful language. And of course, we're proud of who we are. You know, we don't feel put down. You know, we just carry on and power on through. You know, we have jobs, we communicate, we're doing fine.
Did you have any issues when you went over to the United States, not being able to talk to someone because they have a different sign language over there? They have US sign language. Did you have any issues around that?
Yep. So when I arrived, I only knew the alphabet in ASL, that's all. So I had to try and absorb it all, you know, in sort of 3 weeks' time. But it was a really good experience, you know. And I was really lucky, my American mum over there, she was an interpreter, so we communicated quite well at home every day. Yeah. And I learned it pretty quickly, you know, and when I came home, I'd forgotten New Zealand sign language.
Yeah. Why do you think that we don't really hear about sign language in the mainstream outside of Sign Language Week, which was a couple of weeks ago?
I think because when deaf children are in mainstream, they're out there by themselves, you know. So we have these youth camps to bring them all together and to show them that they're together. You know, most deaf adults, they go to like Van Ash or Christchurch and board for a while after they've been to mainstream school. But when you're out in the mainstream, you're by yourself. It's a bit isolating. You don't have access to that kind of support. And that's why we need to advocate for that, you know, all over New Zealand.
And I think it's really important that we're doing this show on Sign Language Week, not even in Sign Language Week, because like it's important to everyday life, and recognising it now is just really good.
Yeah. It would be lovely if we could have interpreters for full access on TV, you know, to find out about news, what's going on with lifestyle stuff.
I was quite
really
impressed to see that in the past, it was a few months ago now, that whenever you watch Parliament TV or anything to do with politics, they always have an interpreter in the corner. And then whenever Jacinda Ardern does a press conference, she's got an interpreter with her, beside her, and but they just sit there, and you wouldn't really notice it if you weren't looking for it, but it was quite useful to see that they're in the shot and you can actually see them doing sign, and I thought it was quite a good thing to see sign in the mainstream TV.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, it makes us want to watch it a bit more as well. You know, subtitles, you know, are all right if you know English really well.
Yeah.
You know, but it's usually our second language, so.